Thanks for joining me on Life and Surround. Today, it is my joy to discuss with you an upcoming release for Billy Joel. For Billy Joel. I know a lot of us are BJ fans, particularly when had at the right price. So forgive me, I had to make that joke. So we're talking about Billy Joel, Piano Man, and in particular, we're talking about the quadraphonic version. Now, you may be saying that's not a quadraphonic sleeve, and you are correct. But I found this in a record store, and sometimes it is worth looking at those labels because that is the gold and red that I'm sometimes hoping for. Sometimes titles back in the day, like a record plant, either ran out of the quadraphonic sleeves and they just shipped them in the stereo sleeve. Sometimes maybe an owner did a swappage, though I find that unlikely here. I've heard that this title sometimes shipped with a stereo sleeve. So sometimes when you know that to be the case or a possibility, go ahead and check. So that's the SQ label right there. So SQ, a matrix vinyl technology. If you with otherwise with a stereo turntable, stylus, and cartridge, you can run this to an SQ decoder. And then if you have a quadraphonic amplifier and 4 speakers, you get quad. So the cool thing for us in 2024, and particularly for those of us without SQ equipment, now I happen to, but between Sony Japan and Dutton Vocalion and Rhino Quadio, my vintage analog, vinyl sourced quad station has mainly been powered off. And, that's a good problem for me. I love it when classic quad is rescued and brought into the modern age, rescued from obscurity and from, expensive vintage equipment problems by being released on Blu-ray audio or SACD audio. Sometimes maybe it was released on DVD audio. Not sure about that. But anyway, CD Japan has announced mid to late February pre-order for Billy Joel Piano Man hybrid SACD. You're going to get a CD layer, you're going to get a stereo SACD layer, and you're going to get quadraphonic SACD layer. Now, there happens to be an Atmos mix out for Piano Man. Maybe it was mixed and released to celebrate the 50th anniversary. It wouldn't surprise me if the powers that be end up releasing a Blu-ray audio, for the 50th anniversary, some sort of a deluxe package later this year. But a lot of times when Atmos mixes are streaming, that's where they stay. And that is the norm. So it is actually the exception when mixes get released on Blu-ray audio so that we can experience it losslessly and so that we can own it and not rent it, so that we can enjoy it if our internets are down, as long as you have a Blu-ray player. So this is very, very, very good news. And like I said in a previous video, for CD Japan, I wait for multiples of these 7-inch packaging series SACDs to just basically take the pain out of shipping. So for Santana Welcome, which I've been waiting on for, a companion album to order, and Billy Joel Piano Man, both hybrid SACDs with quadraphonic layers, I got out of that for less than $100. So 2 albums in vintage quadraphonic, both of which I very, very, very much want to hear. I very, very much want to own, and I want to hear losslessly. And then when you go from Matrix like SQ to Super Audio CD, now you have the chance to hear the discrete 4 channels, because Matrix is only, something like 80% separated, Like it can't ever get like fully separated. So now we have the chance to hear the mix discreetly. Now, was that what the engineers intended, or did they know, hey, Matrix doesn't get you all the way there, so they kind of like regamed that into their mixology? I'm not sure. So, do these SACD reissues just get like too discreet? Not really sure, but just per my ears, it is always a treat. Like I've heard quite a few of these Sony Japan SACD reissues of classic quads, and they thoroughly entertain me. They delight me. I don't get the sense that like things are overly discreet. So I have a feeling that the engineers back in the day mixed, maybe like with discrete monitoring, and then the SQ playback was just a bit of a compromise. All right, so let's take a second to talk about some other Billy Joel in surround. A while back, Audio Fidelity released Street Life Serenade, quadraphonic SACD. And if I'm not mistaken, this may have been released in the same year or similar year to Piano Man. So it's coming up on an anniversary. I just read that online recently, so don't quote me on that unless I'm right. But maybe it'll get some anniversary action. Maybe Piano Man will get some further anniversary action. And then yay long ago, The Stranger was released. I have it in like its I think a original SACD release. This is probably not hybrid, if I recall. This is single layer, so you must have an SACD player. But then Sony Japan released this on the in the 7-inch packaging format. So this is no longer quite as out of print and super duper hard to get. So you can seek this out. I believe it is a 5.1 format, but that may just be, like tinkering with the classic quad, to give it some additional channels for compatibility. I don't know. I don't know everything about surround. Maybe some of you can chime in the comments and let everyone know. I'm confident that Piano Man, Street Life Serenade, and Turnstiles were classic original Billy Joel quads. What about for The Stranger and 52nd Street? Were these just modern 5.1 mixes, or were these albums here's 52nd Street, or were these quadraphonic albums that were just kind of tinkered with to make a 5.1 release? Not sure, but anyway, I don't have to know everything. Sometimes it takes the community to kind of fill in all the knowledge gaps. And then rounding out my understanding of Billy Joel in surround, and I'm not talking about some of his concert videos, like I've seen Last at Shea, the concert Blu-ray, which is a great show. I actually watched it with my mom, and that was a great evening. Totally cool, especially since I was at Shea Stadium shortly before it closed down. My stepfather took me to see some Mets games because I loved the Mets because my uncle pitched for them. Rest in peace. But he was a cool, wonderful man. My stepfather and my uncle, both wonderful men. And a little bit of that rubbed off on me. All right. So you have, rounding out my knowledge of Billy Joel and surround, the Essential Video Collection. Now, this unfortunately does have a couple of crappy upmixes in kind of like smack dab in the middle of the set list, which I wish they had just like relegated them to like the bonus section or something. But there are some legit, like really good mixes on here. And if memory serves, some material that's not found on the albums I just showed you. All right. So you have some options if you are just absolutely itching for some Billy Joel in surround, from quadraphonic to 5.1. You have some disc options, and then Piano Man is streaming in Atmos. Like if you have Apple Music, Tidal, services like that, and an Atmos capable system, you can stream Piano Man. Now, again, I always prefer Blu-ray audio to streaming just because you're going to get more definition from a Blu-ray. Far, far, far higher bandwidth. You just can't get that quality from streaming. At least not yet, not until they unlock that bandwidth, okay? So, Billy Joel, Piano Man, Sony Japan, hybrid SACD, get stereo and the classic quad mix. This is super duper exciting for me. Those who watch this channel a fair bit know I love quad. And given that stereo uses phantom centering up front, the quad is every bit as capable of giving you a surround experience as 5.1. And then, obviously, if you make the jump up to Atmos or RO3D, DTSX, you're going to get, that 3D element. But quad is wonderful. I love plenty of quadraphonic albums and just can't wait to get my hands on Billy Joel, Piano Man, Sony Japan, quadraphonic SACD from CD Japan. As far as I know, that is like the only way to get it, like from like retail source, though there do tend to be like some eBay outlets and stuff like that. So I will provide the link to CD Japan. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, shape, or form. Also, hey, I'm not affiliated with VetTix. I'm just one of their members. But I put on this shirt today to kind of remind myself to just give a shout out. Like if you are a fellow U.S. Veteran or first responder, there's a sister site to VetTix. It might be like First Tix or something like that. It's just an organization that you join, and then they get donated tickets. And so like for hockey or monster truck rallies with my son, or, various concerts, sometimes groups that I love, Howard Jones, Mastodon, I've seen like a lot of cool stuff through VetTix, and helps the budget, and it kind of gets me out in the community, right? So just wanted to give a shout out. And then also, if anyone out there, any fellow service members are in any need of any kind of like mental or physical health services, please register at the VA. You may not be near a perfect hospital system, but like I live, near a really good one. And let me tell you, like lifesaver is not overstating the case. Okay. So just wanted to give that shout out. It's 2024. I'm looking for this to be just like a better year for everyone. Okay. So I just wanted to give those pitches. I get nothing out of it. Just, just wanted to offer some encouragement, for anyone out there who may be in need of some entertainment. You got VetTix, and in need of some help, you've got VA. So with that said, Billy Joel, Piano Man, pre-order CD Japan. It's a great, great way to start 2024. And with that, I'll be back pretty soon with some more exciting stuff. And until then, live life in surround.